Hey there, fellow wood gas bugs. I'm Meta94FXR. Some of you in the gasser community know of me. Majority of you don't. Excuse my voice. But today we're going to do a walk around of my gasifier that's a work in progress, and also my wood chunker. So before we start that, I'd like to thank several people, which would be Doc D. Cox, Maz DeLorean, CNC Machining is Fun, Joseph P. Paz, New Hampshire Hobby Logger, and most of all, Flash001 USA. Flash, you are the man. Without you, I'd still have a FEMA tar production facility on the back of this thing. So anyhow, let's go ahead and start walking around here. Let's get over to the chamber. Right now I'm throwing about 2,000 watts of lighting at this thing. This is a standard Flashifier build. Okay, it's got a different rim. I'm using a golf cart rim, but I wouldn't suggest that. I'd use the Northern Tool rim for everybody else. As you can see from the location of the shaker and the ignition port, I have a lot of hopper down inside of this thing, as well as a little bit more on top. There's two slip sleeves on the 3/4 inch air nozzle, one to go in and out, and left and right to center it, and another slip sleeve to drop it straight out and lower it or raise it into the hearth. Other than that, it's your basic Flashifier. It's even got his air nozzle set up, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's basically the same machine as he has. But anyhow, from there, this has got a lot of stainless steel piping on it. Goes into these actual high-performance exhaust elbows. These are Dynamax, and also Walker makes them. There, you notice there's no kinks. Goes along down into the first set of coolers, which is the Flash design. These here are 5 foot long, 4-core, I guess you would call it. There's a drip leg on the bottom of each one. From there, comes out the bottom, some more stainless tubing right there, into another one of those elbows, and into the original Vortex cooler that I had when I had the FEMA on this trailer, which is a purpose-built trailer. I built the trailer first before anything else. I added this other condenser, cooler, whatever you may want to call it, which also has the scrubber pads in it. And from the top, the rest of this is all PVC piping. Actually, it's the sweeps are actually electrical conduit, but they work just fine, and it has good gas flow. That is going to be going down into another 5-foot tube cooler, and from that point it goes into the filtration system, which are pretty much also your standard Flash design. I have a little difference here where mine is being supported by a piece of unistrut in the back welded to the trailer, and 3 6-inch pipe clamps. Other than that, they're basically the same thing, but I can remove these individually without having the filters flop over. Of course, with the scrubber pads, I can pull them out. I don't have to move that filter, and the same with the fiber fill. But the center one with the wood shavings, I literally have to pull that one out and dump it. I'd like to put a basket in there, a very tight-fitting basket, so I can just lift it in and out and dump it and not ever have to pull the filter. Anyhow, I need to get a new piece of pipe over here. This is just some stuff I had laying around. I need to go ahead and get the thin wall pipe and the caps and stuff from over at Lowe's. I was trying to find a piece of around here somewhere with all the people in this neck of the woods. But of course, then at that point it goes into the valving setup over here. Now none of this piping is actually glued, not a single piece on this thing yet, none of the PVC. And you can see I actually have twine holding things together because of the vibration from the shaker that I'm working on. This is a household furnace, LP, natural gas furnace, draft induction fan. After quite a few modifications, it works just fine. Pulls real good, and I'm going to probably end up trying to put this sleeve up over here and see how that acts. I'm just going to tack that in place just in case it does not. I might pull it back off. Of course, I have the stainless wadding down in here, the stainless scrubber pad. It's got, of course, the fan timer, which is dangling right now. Everything is work in progress. I'm using the same timer. Matter of fact, Dan D. Cox gave me the information for this ART D&E repeat cycle timer. They work really well. A little bit pricey, but I mean, if you want something that actually works, then this is what you got to deal with. Other than that, let's go over to the shaker assembly that I'm working on right now. This is a Thomas wobble diaphragm compressor. It's actually double head. It's got the motor in the center and a head on either side. And I modified this one end so far. Let me get down here. And you can see it's just, this is the actual counterweight from the piston assembly that's in here. And it just works around like so. It was so fast and violent. I'm trying out this ceramic rheostat. It's ceramic wire round. And it does slow it down, slows it down nicely. I didn't want to put electronic on here because I was worried about the load that the little motor would pull, even though it's not a whole lot of wattage. And only like 0.14 amps is really low. Comes over to the shaker lever here. You can see how many, let me get out of the light, how many holes I have drilled in this thing. Alright, that's how many tries I did to get the shaker to work properly internally. It was so violent I actually blew my shaker grate off the chains, off two of the chains that was hanging there. So that's just something I'm still working on. Once I get the proper fuel chunks in this thing, then I'll know better how to set the timing and stuff for this particular shaker. Other than that, that's about, it does run. It works beautiful. I've done about 20 runs with this, and it shoots out a monster flare. I get good Halloween orange off of it right off the bat out of the unfiltered side. And on the filtered side, I still get a little wisp of orange, okay, but a lot of blue. And I have no doubt that it would run against my generator. Which, if you look over here, there's an awful lot of room on the front of this trailer. On this side, all intentions was to put the generator in here. I'm going to take this blower and I'm going to move it to the front of the filters. I'm also going to take this tank right here, the vortex cooler and tank, add 2 more pieces of 1.5 by 1.5 box tubing, cut the welds, move it back. I'm going to put feet on it with 2 bolts on each foot so I can remove the tank assembly, this whole cooler assembly, out of here and not have to worry about, like I said, cutting it. I'm going to go ahead and cut these pipes right here, approximately 6-7 inches out of these 2, shift the whole thing back. Another thing too, this little bracketry right down here, this is absolutely useless. This is going to be coming off. But anyhow, you see where I'm going. It does work. It works good. Just going to wait to get the fuel, and I'm going to go ahead and try it a couple more test runs, and then light up the generator with it. Over to the chunker. This is for Flash. He was very interested in this. This is the Don Manus design. Inline like this, a little small compact unit, but his folds up. This is not, this will not. I can't take this anywhere. Basically, got to leave it here in the shop and process your wood right here. It uses a 5-horse Briggs & Stratton flathead, which is sitting right there. Got that for free. Put $10 into the carburetor, and it runs like a charm. But there's some more work to be done on this, but I got to put the cross members on here, a chute underneath to direct the wood down into the bin down below. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. This is a 10-inch table saw blade that I modified. It's very easy when you got a plasma cutter, no problem at all. Just go ahead and cut the thing out and sharpen it. But I welded a sub-hub type thing to it, and that is welded to the blade, and then those 4 studs come into this Woods 7/8 by 1.25 bore coupler. And that works out really nice. No problems whatsoever. Right over here, this was what I call the shedder, between this piece and this piece right here. And what that does, it helps eliminate, I know these are small chunks of wood. You see how those are hung together by the bark? That eliminates that and actually gives you a much cleaner chunk. And this is basically what Flash is using in his unit, just dead branches and stuff from around the property. And that's what I'm trying to achieve with this unit right here. But anyhow, this is still a work in progress. Everything comes apart. It's very easy to service. With the blade in this position right here, actually let me rotate it just a little bit, right about there. You can either take the whole head assembly off with the guard, or you can unbolt the guard, and then that allows you to go ahead and sharpen the cutter on here. Quite convenient. It's easily really serviceable. Right over here, this is the cool here. I installed a spring-loaded depth stop, fully adjustable. It adjusts up in here. Right now it's set for about 3/4 of an inch, which is, you see the chunks it's given me, which is this right here. So anyhow, this is going to be what I'm concentrating on working on, is this little baby right here. Once I get the chunker working right and I get some fuel built up, then I'll concentrate on getting back on the gasifier and doing some test runs to get consistent with this fuel, and also I'm going to try with the nice chips I'm getting out of my chipper shredder in the back. So I'm going to be building a drum roller with 1/2-inch screen on it to get the fines out of it. So I may be able to sit there and get a way to have 2 different types of fuel that I can use in this, or a combination of the 2. That would be nice if I can sit there and utilize both. Anyhow, that's about it for now, folks. This is the very first video I ever shot. I hope you can hear my voice. I'm talking about as loud as I can right now. The pollen really tore me up this year. And it's hot and humid here. You got to wear long pants, because out in the forest out here, the yellow flies will tear you up. Anyhow, I'm going to sign off and see how this came out. If it looks good, I'm going to go ahead and post it to YouTube. Have a good day, gentlemen.